Bye.
Bye. Hey beauties and gents, it's your girl Linnee and welcome to Inner Beauty Out. As promised, I said that I would come back to you with more content and I am working on that actively. But I have been struggling with filming this second video because it just hits different. And I've actually filmed it 2 times and I have not liked how it came out, and so I've decided to film this a 3rd time. Hopefully 3rd time's a charm. And if you haven't been here before, I welcome you. My name is Linnee and this channel is all about lifestyle, beauty, reviews in terms of that, hauls, testimonials, and it's really about showcasing and sharing my life in the sense of sometimes the beauty is not in necessarily like what you physically see. Sometimes you go through life's experiences and you just find the beauty in that, and so letting that beauty out is really what my channel is about. So is that, and then of course my love for everything beauty. So if you are rejoining or coming back, welcome back. I'm super happy to have you. Thank you for holding on and supporting up until this point. It really means a great deal to me. Today is actually Monday, November the 7th, and there's so much to unpack on today, but I'm gonna see if I can really make this as short as possible. Today's video is really just a sit down video and a little bit more of but this is also showing you moments in time that I've experienced personally and sharing that with you throughout this journey. Some of this stuff is it may be triggering for you if you're going through this process, but it also may be just insight for other people, or maybe support in knowing that you're not alone in going through something similar. Guys, I did a thing, a huge thing, and I quit my job. So I did this back in September. The job that, yes, I had prayed for, I was excited. The job that took me away from doing this, particularly in terms of content creating, it absorbed so much of my time. And I was really happy to just have a job, right? Because I had been without for so long. But yeah, I literally had to leave that job. Really loved the manager that I worked for, the one that hired me. I actually even got a chance to explore more than just our platonic work relationship, in the sense of boss and just employee, I should say. Actually where I got to know his family. He knew my family. It made our relationship that much stronger and greater to work with, because I didn't feel disposable, if that makes sense. It wanted me to always put my best foot forward, because I knew that I wanted to make him proud, and that I enjoyed our relationship. I felt like he saw and wanted the best for me. He had my back, and there was so much more. And so I really appreciated our relationship and getting to know him and getting to work with him. He really meant a lot and showed me a lot in just not even the words that he said, but in his just leadership. And so he will forever be someone that I will always respect. And what drew me to getting to the point of leaving, so he left the organization maybe about 1.5 years into my time there, and he went to pursue something that pleased his heart, which I thought was really great. But in that process happened change management, COVID was going on, and the Great Resignation pretty much is what I felt was sparked once he left. And I knew when he left that the same level of care and so forth that I had with him would not translate the same with the people that were there, if that makes sense. In terms of even just my growth, mainly that's really also what it was. It was am I going to be in this role for a long time, or are there really growth opportunities for me, as I was promised when I first joined? And honestly, what I have come to find out that there really wasn't. And so I stuck around, you know, for someone who has a master's degree and came in doing, you know, being an EA. So I was in manufacturing operations, and supporting leadership on that end was very technical. And so there was nothing really for me, because I'm more of a creative person, as you know. And so as much as I wanted to transition into another particular area of the business, there weren't really opportunities available. And what I found out was that it would really mean taking a step back to take a step forward, which meant like taking a pay cut or whatever the case may be. If an opportunity came about, it wouldn't translate the same. Now, I've also seen opportunities created for people in my time there that maybe didn't really meet the requirements, qualifications, if you will. But there were people who were willing to invest in them and really make sure that they had the resources to really do well. And I just felt like that wasn't something that was shared across the table for everyone. And it was unfortunate. It just became more and more frustrating, because I felt like I really went above and beyond in which what I was hired to do, and it didn't really like allow me to really grow in a way that I felt like I needed to. It was beginning to affect my health physically. I had a lot of trauma and fear, because leading up until this point, as you know my story, and if you don't, I'll link the video up above. But for a while, you know, 4 to 5 years, I did not have a job. Even as someone with 2 degrees, I was either seen as someone who was like overqualified or wasn't like specifically niched qualified. And so people didn't really take a chance on me up until this point. And so my fear with leaving this organization was that I was going to be in this rut of like being stuck without a job. And now I'm on my own, I have my own place, and so the responsibilities are greater. So I really literally felt stuck. And I think that, as well as the environment that I was in, began to manifest in a way of having anxiety that I never knew really what that was. But it also began to manifest in its place of panic attacks. I never experienced that before this time either. It was bringing me back to a lot of trauma and experiences I was having when I was in law school, and I didn't really know how to identify that without having honestly going through therapy. I was grateful enough to have had started therapy prior to experiencing all these things, and so I was able to dissect a lot of this with my therapist. And then we really realized, you know, what triggers were my triggers and things of that nature. And so while I didn't really start off using therapy as a means of like combating something like this, it really came into hand as a helpful resource for me in this stage, in this process for me in my life. So needless to say, I needed to leave. I didn't feel valued anymore. I felt frustrated. I felt disrespected. I felt a lot of things, and in particular, the ability to not grow. And I didn't know where else I wanted to go at this point, but there was nothing exciting about going to work. I took a risk. I spoke it out with my therapist. We planned an exit plan, like kind of like a strategy, and that really helped me brought me peace as to what the next steps were for me. I spoke to my family, my village, even my clients, honestly, and everyone that I actually spoke to were so supportive of me that it made me feel even more validated and comfortable in the decisions that I was making. Everyone, if not unanimously, thought that it was an unhealthy situation for me and it was time. And so I did it. I was so scared when I handed in my notice. And when I did, the reaction even more validated my reasonings for leaving. My manager, so to speak, at the time, felt like he knew it was coming. He didn't fight for me. And so that was really it. There was no counter to anything. I didn't say where I was going. I was still in the process of figuring that out, so I didn't really say. But there was nothing to say, what can we do to make you stay? That was enough for me. It broke my heart in the moment it happened, but it also gave me a little bit more strength to walk away. I prayed about it. I had a lot of emotions, a lot of things going through me, but it had come to that point. So fast forward, I left the organization, and the first 3 days of the following week after I left, after my last day, I had decided to do a 3-day fast. And that fast, I really just like pour out my heart to God. And I basically did like a half day fast up until midday. And then I did like a midnight prayer. And I literally laid it all before God, like, whatever your will is, I don't know what it is, but I was just ready for a break. I was ready to just take time off, because mentally, emotionally, I didn't have any more to give. And so literally after that Wednesday, so I started on a Sunday night, Wednesday was the last day. That Thursday, I got an email from one of the jobs that I had basically applied to, that I really wanted, but I wasn't sure was going to get back to me, pretty much because I hadn't heard from them for about a month now at this point. And I had gone through like 3 rounds of interviews with them. And they offered me the job. And so I'll insert that and me sharing it with my sister. All right, one more minute, and just going to take a deep breath. And put my ringer on.
It took us just a little bit to finish up our process with a few unexpected calendar bookings that we had to kind of rearrange, but we are finally through, and we are very excited to let you know that you are our top candidate, and we would love to extend you an offer for our designer fragrance executive assistant position.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yes, please do feel free to reach out, and we are so excited to be presenting you this offer. We think you'd be an amazing fit for the organization, and we really look forward to your response. Bye.
Bye. You look amazing this morning.
Thank you.
I have great news.
What's the news? You got a new job?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
It felt great. It felt exciting. And so there was that. And just the way everything kind of worked out, I was able to take the downtime that I needed to be refreshed and reset, to come back more excited, just ready to serve and to really do what I gotta do. So now that happened in September. So I have pretty much the whole month of October off, and I was set to start work in November. So here we are, today's November 7th, and I've actually had my first week of work, and there's been a lot of mixed emotions in the process too. But mostly exciting. As you can see, just a joy in my heart. I just feel like I'm at the right place, right? Like, I just feel like it's almost surreal that this is happening. And like, because it's in an industry that I really care about, I don't even have the words. Like, that's how excited I am. Like, my managers, I support 2 women now, which most people could find like super nerve-wracking, because like, there's always these thought processes about like women in leadership, but honestly I think it's like so, if you will, badass, to be quite honest, because it's just like, I've never supported women before. The way that they have treated me leading up until this point, man, night and day. The industry is very similar, which is great. I am still in an EA role, but I am in a level 2, and so I'm just really happy. Like, I am happy. I can't even begin to like fully get into details outside of that. the people that I've met have been really nice so far, but it's just like super fast paced, right? So it's like you got to hit the ground running, get to learn things like yesterday. There's a lot more people. This role is truly an EA role, as it should. I was doing executive assistant in my last role, but it was more office management, so to speak. So yeah, I'm like really excited about this new journey. I'm in the city now. Like I am not, so I still live in Jersey, but I now commute into the city. I never thought that I would be a city person at all, a city girl, if you will. I always thought I was I was always overwhelmed by the city, and so to be able to be in a space where it literally like it worked out really great. Like where I live allows me to take a shuttle into the train station that is in the town, and then from the town I take a direct train without any transfers or whatever the case may be to the city. And so I just walk literally from the train station to the office, and it's literally about like I would say like a 10 to 12 minute walk, depending on the day. I love where I'm at. Now it's going to be taking some adjusting too, in terms of just like, you know, getting to know the ins and out, the culture and who's who. There's so much. So I'm excited about this new venture. I feel valued. I feel important. I feel part of the team. I feel like a key player, and I'm ready. Like I'm ready to hit the ground running. I'm excited about learning more in different roles, like in terms of like key support to the marketing team. Just, you know, that's huge, right? And to be able to kind of, you know, build relationships and really like get to know how that works. I love that and super excited about that too. And I get to like, I don't have to be in the office 5 days a week. Like I'm in the office 3 days a week, and I'm working remote 2 days a week. So I get to show you guys more in terms of content, which I love. And so basically what it's like to work from home, and then days of like going into the city and what that week looks like for me. So yeah, I'm really happy, and I wanted to share this with you guys. I wanted to also just like if you're in a place, right, of like where you no longer feel like that place is serving you, and you know it deep down, it's time to go. It's time to create a plan, because you don't have to live there. You don't have to dwell there. You don't have to suffer there. And when you find the right opportunity, I think there's also an inkling in you that just knows that it's right. You have a peace about it. Things will just align the right way that it should. And sometimes it takes taking a step of faith, and then letting God kind of do the rest. Honestly, I feel like that's really what it was. Like I had no inkling of like what was going to happen next. I just knew in my heart of heart through prayer that I was going to be okay. I was going to land, whether it was going to be doing makeup freelance full-time again, being a content creator full-time again. And that's why I was like pumping out a lot of content for a while. But when it came down to having this conversation about this stage, it was really hard, because it meant revisiting back the painful moments. And I know it's going to be hard even editing this part, because it's okay. We grow from there. It didn't break us. It didn't kill us. We learned. And nothing, I keep saying this, like all our experiences are not for naught. I've learned this. So meaning that nothing is wasted. Everything has a purpose. You don't know how it fits today. Like the industry that I left put me in a position to be able to get into this industry today. And yes, it was like my experience towards the end was terrible. But at the end of the day, I don't think I was supposed to go any sooner or any later than how it worked out. God knew the plan beforehand. And the craziest thing is someone kind of prophesied about this happening. And at the time I really didn't get it. I didn't really put two and two together, and God blew my mind. Like here we are. So the power of prayer is so important. I'm not saying I walk a perfect walk. I don't make any mistakes. I am constantly like checking myself from a spiritual stance of just like, am I aligned with what God's will is for me? Am I making the right decisions? Am I being selfish? Am I feeding my flesh? I have these moments because I'm human, right? And I'm young and I'm single. And so there are a lot of these moments that I feel like people don't really talk about. I think people put on to say that, you know, this is how we're supposed to do it, as if that they live the life like literally like that in perfection, when in reality we have missteps. Actually, it's a couple of videos that I'm going to be creating with work edition, getting back into work, what I've been doing leading up in the process that helped me, you know, as far as having, like, I've been working with a career coach, and I find it really helpful because I had a lot of also anxiety and leading up into like getting into this new phase or starting this new job, and I didn't want to carry my experiences from the last job into this one. So not only emotionally going through that through therapy, but also like building like working on strategies with my career coach in how I want to move in this role, and what I can actually do to like measure whether I'm doing that or not. So like, you know, just rethinking and reshifting the way that I am presenting and coming off, and what I actually want to do in my time and how I want to grow. So I'm excited, I'm happy, I am joyed, I am filled with so much joy. I am still praying, because just because we got here, we got to still pray for the blessings of staying where we are, in the sense of like, you know, and God aligning for more blessings to come. So if you're in this season right now, reach out, like drop a message below, you know, if there's anything that I can help you with in what I've experienced and may not have completely shared, because I didn't want to make this video super long, and who knows what this video will look like, but I will love to, like, you know, talk about it with you, because, you know, it's sometimes you just feel like you're alone in this, and you don't have to be. And sometimes people feel like they can't move for many different reasons. Mine was the trauma of like feeling like I wouldn't get another job. For other people, it might be the fact that they feel like, you know, because of family situations, they got to stay where they are. So for other people, everyone has different situations and scenarios. And so I just want to let you know that it doesn't have to be that way. If you like this video, definitely let me know. Leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel. There's many more to come. I look forward to sharing so much more with you guys. So yeah, until then, I love you guys. Thank you so much for rocking with me, for being patient with me. But we here. We got this. You got this. God's got this. And so I'll see you in my next one. Bye.